Hello, everyone, and welcome to this chat with Madonna Brady and Salty Otten, who will be sharing their personal connections with the arts, health, and wellbeing. I am Kathy Goss, one of the directors of Dance for Parkinson's Australia. I am the Sydney coordinator and also a teaching artist. I personally have been so inspired by all the sessions that I have attended over the past 2 days. And I do hope you all have felt the same way and have taken away some joy, some creativity and inspiration from these 2 days. I would particularly like to acknowledge and thank Erica Rose Jeffrey, the director of Dance for Parkinson's program. The genesis of this festival has been hers, her idea, her drive, her determination, and her commitment to the Dance for Parkinson's program, the creative arts in general, and health and wellbeing initiatives are second to none. So Erica Rose, I just want to take this moment and say a huge thank you to you, because I think it's been such an amazing, inspirational 2 days, and I just needed to acknowledge you at this moment in time. I would also like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the land in which we are meeting. I'm joining you from Gadigal land here in Sydney of the Eora Nation. I would like to acknowledge all the elders from the lands of which we are all meeting on today, past, present, and emerging. So on to the presentation. And as I've already mentioned, Madonna Brady and Salty Otten are sharing their personal connections to the arts, health, and wellbeing. They are both now based in Queensland. And Salty at 31 was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's, and Madonna at 46 with young onset Parkinson's. They both love the arts and creative pursuits, and it seems the occasional beer. Madonna is the founder of Pom Poms for Parkinson's and took 250 pom-poms to the World Parkinson Congress in Japan. I really would have liked to have seen that. I'm sorry, I didn't. Salty, among her many achievements, is the coordinator of the World Parkinson's Games. They both volunteer at radio station 4ZZZ in Brisbane. Try to catch them on there. So I am really excited to hear about their stories, and I will hand over now to Salty and Madonna. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, buddy. Well, first of all, we have our names wrong. I'm Madonna on this side.
And I'm Salty on this side. And we are broadcasting from Meanjin, which is also known as Brisbane or Brisbane.
And this is my front room of my house. This is the office. And if you hear a dog barking, that's my dog. So, Salty, just thinking about creativity. You're a musician. I didn't know.
Really? There's so much about me you don't know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So tell us what sort of music do you play?
Oh, look, not much anymore because Parkinson's. I'm trying very hard to play guitar more, but I'm classically trained in the flute. So fluking it and landing in the music industry is pretty cool.
Yeah, wow.
And you're a crafter. You're a mad crafter and a sewer and a dressmaker and all that jazz. You're always making stuff.
I don't make clothes.
Oh, well, then what? You make booties. They're clothes,
yeah, I make baby shoes.
That's an item of clothing.
Yeah. I don't make dresses. I might twist some clothes around a little dolly's body, but that's all. But yeah, I make quilts and lots of little things. Yeah, it's great.
And we've got to delve in rather soon because we've only got 45 minutes to try and tell people as much about our stories as possible. But something that I found, and we can talk about this later, but my involvement with live music and just being a regular gig pig really, really, really helps my Parkinson's and gives me this mad dopamine hit. Now, I find that especially before I was diagnosed and had deep brain stimulation, I'd go to gigs and I'd feel a lot better and my symptoms to a degree would dissipate. Do you find that with your crafting? Because you knit, you sew, you do all this like really intricate stuff, which when you're dyskinetic, which if people don't know is when you're flopping around like a fish on a boat.
Yeah.
How do you find that impacts your crafting? Does it impact your crafting, or do you find it helps your Parkinson's? Is that too many questions?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you've got to sort of break it down for me because I do lots of stuff. So
okay.
When I'm on Triple Z, that's pretty fine. I do get a little bit dyskinetic, and sometimes that's hard to talk. The other thing, when I'm doing my patchwork or sewing, That's at home. That's my fun time.
Mm.
So if I'm really rigid and, you know, it's really hard to do, I just, you know, go take a break.
Yeah, right.
You know, and also, you know, it depends on the situation. When I used to do the radio show from my home computer.
Oh, Radio Parkies, that's
Yeah,
right, the International Parkinson's Radio.
That could be so nerve-wracking because the tech support was in Belgium.
That's handy.
Yeah. So sometimes we'd say, oh, we just got to get the guy on the roof to sort things out for us. And my husband was the sound man, and that just meant that he kept the dog quiet.
Did it test your marriage?
No, it was pretty good. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, no, it was a good experience, very nice. But yeah, I'm quite patient. I try and just let what's happening happen.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the way to be, and I suppose that's one of the big things you've got to take away from Parkinson's. And, you know, I've been really getting into pottery and having that focus on something that isn't Parkinson's, be it dance, gigs, music, pottery.
Yeah.
It makes you disconnect from your body. I know it sounds very existential and very alternative, but it really does help kind of and making things and being productive and seeing your work, you know, and being able to go, yeah, did that.
That is totally absorbing, and that's what I love about painting or mosaics or printmaking.
Is there anything you don't do? Dresses, that's right.
Don't make dresses, no. I'm a really bad knitter.
That's pretty regular.
You know, like that's all right, isn't it?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not. I can't do the you know.
Fair art?
Yeah, can't do that.
Or like multiple sticks?
No, that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, but yeah, talking about the gigs, Salty, what would the best gig be that you've been to?
Heck. Oh, look, I've been really privileged. I've seen some amazing shows, but one of the crackers before I was diagnosed, you can see I'm shaking. Before I was diagnosed, I didn't really have a good balance or anything, and I was it never stopped me. It probably should have. But I have my best friend in Melbourne, Jen. Hi, Jen. I know you're watching and avoiding work. We would often go to like 6 gigs in a night. So we would start generally at a record shop at an in-store, then we'd go, say, to an old bar afternoon show, then down to the Gasso or the Tote. We like the good thing about that is we both knew the venues and we knew them so well that we could plan our nights so we could get to bands. It was pretty cool.
That's great. That's fantastic that it's all happening there.
Yeah, all within a walk, really.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, I guess you asked, like before this, I asked Madonna to send me some questions, so you know I could prepare. I wrote down 5. Joanna Newsom at the Opera House about 15 years ago, sat next to Bjork. I love her. I love her so much. Not Bjork. Well, I like Bjork, but Joanna Newsom. Every time I've seen Tony Joe White, and those are mostly with mum and dad or at Boogie. Tan Dun. Do you know Tan Dun? Have you seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Yes.
Okay, so the bloke who composed that soundtrack and is an amazing soundtrack writer and composer, he used to come to Melbourne every Chinese New Year and do these concerts and focus on different musicians or different Chinese musicians or folk songs or any, like, it was amazing. Anyway, his shows, Chinese New Year, were always amazing. Last time I went, which is probably 3 years ago now, they featured Hungy, and they don't, which is a Mongolian punk band. Look them up, Hangii. Brilliant.
Mongolia's got so many people. If anyone does really well, they do really, really well.
Oh, it's just, it was such a hoot, and I've seen them at WOMAD too, and then that's my last one. Every WOMAD I've ever been to, it's the only festival I refuse to work because it's all about having fun.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, those are my 5. And any gig at the old bar with us. And so, like, it's so hard because I've just seen so many amazing gigs that most people wouldn't be privy to.
Yeah. Now, question 2 for me, what was that?
For you?
Yeah.
This is a good one. If you could do anything creatively, so anything creatively, for the rest of your life. So let's say, well, you just can't do anything else other than this one thing.
Okay.
What would you choose? Like how?
Yeah.
And what would be your
It's
reasoning
hard,
behind that?
But I thought about it and I thought handwriting, because that makes
What?
handwriting. You know, a lot of people
Well, like
can't-
calligraphy.
No, handwriting. Just fill out a form. You know, someone gives you a form.
What?
I like to write. I like to write with pencil. I like to write with nice pens.
Look, I like to write, but I shake and I've got micrography, which is when you write really, really small.
Yeah.
Wow, writing. What are you,
Well,
glutton for punishment?
Just the dexterity. Like
What dexterity? We have Parkinson's.
Yeah, no. But I can embroider. I can sew on a machine. I just think that I'm doing as much as I can now. You know, I make probably 3 or 4 quilts a year, and I do, hand embroidery and things that other people don't make. And no one will make a quilt like me because it's my own sewing.
Yeah.
And it might be really wonky, and the seam allowances might be not very even. And,
And you'd rather handwrite over that.
no. I love everything that I do. Gardening is great too.
You have just totally dodged the question. What would you do?
I'm dodgy. What would I do? I don't know, but it's forever. See, I like doing lots of different stuff. I do mosaics. I paint. I'm a flower arranger.
You should be a politician. The way you slipped out of that question was amazing.
Who knows what's around the corner for me? But I do like doing lots of stuff, What's the latest thing I've picked up? I think actually what I really like is the group thing, because why do something by yourself when you can do it together?
Like Dance for Parkinson's.
Yes.
I was actually interviewed at Dance for Parkinson's by these lovely uni students a few weeks ago, and they said to me, they were like, can you quantify the difference this makes in your life? And I was like, well, do 3 hours of physical therapy every day. I can't really quantify anything, but for me, the community that creates, and they're all old, and I'm sorry guys, but you're old. I'm the youngest one by like 15 years, and I really find it heartening, and the community that you find, because I've always been under the impression, well, I've always been for that you can find common ground with anyone, if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
And I think the camaraderie that exists in group activities is exceedingly important for us, especially people who are a little bit younger who are terrified.
Yeah.
I wish I had had that.
Yeah.
Instead of going to the pub, drinking keg dry when I was diagnosed.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Oh, thank you, Labour in Vain. Also, place of many good gigs I've seen.
Yeah. What's your next
Well,
one?
look, I've got a few, but one, seeing like we're moving, I've managed to spin this all around music, which is really handy for me because that's like what I speak and know about most. Yeah. But say when I have to have music, whatever I'm doing. Steve, my flatmate, is like, he can't, it's amazing. He says it's incredible that I can just have a speaker and take it everywhere with me and always have music. But when you're doing your crafting activities or your sewing or your whatever you're doing, what is your music choice? Does it change?
I have good music choice. I have 2 Spotify song playlists, and they're called Sewing Sing Along 1 and Sewing Sing Along 2.
Oh, so you sing along with the sewing?
Yeah, people love to sing and sew.
Yeah.
Like what's it one?
You said the Cruel Sea before, like a little bit of text, sexy.
Tex Perkins is nice. I like Nick Cave. I like
Broody Men. That's what you like.
Broody Men are good.
Toys.
Also, Billie Eilish. Her stuff is great.
You're going to see her when she comes
I
out?
would like to. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, well, get your companion card and you can take the husband along with you for free.
Good, I'll put it in.
Yeah, it's weird. People with Parkinson's, if you fall over and if you've got Parkinson's, all the things, you can apply for a companion card. And that's the best thing because you no longer have to buy 2 tickets for anything if you need someone there to help you if you fall.
Or you're anxious.
Yeah, or you're anxious, or you need someone to carry your beer because you're shaking too much.
Yeah, or you can't find your seat.
Or that's
Or
common.
you can't put the seat down
No.
because you're wearing a strange outfit.
Yes, a restrictive outfit. Like, what else happens? And
I think the anxiety thing is big. From getting from home, getting dressed, getting there, not being late, not getting lost, even though you know the place really well, getting your car parked, or, you know, getting a taxi or bus or whatever you do. The whole situation is big. If you've got a bit of anxiety, things start going wrong, you can't put your shoes on, can't put your pants on. You know, like, it's really gets tricky.
Well, this is one thing that I really loved about being in Fitzroy. I lived in Fitzroy for 10 years. Well, technically Cutton, but I lived on a street which rolled down onto Johnson Street. And it was, if I got Green Man, like a 5-minute walk to the old bar. And when shit was, sorry, Mum, when stuff was going wrong and I couldn't get comfortable in bed if I was trying to sleep, if I couldn't sleep, you know, like those nights where so I would literally get up, often with elastic banded pants if I felt in the mood. But no, I usually got my jeans on and I would toddle down to the old bar and I would sit at the stall that Joel Morrison very so kindly put there, and I would sit there with the best view on the house.
Yeah.
And
that's what we need.
Well,
we need people to be understanding that we like to be in amongst it, but we can't stand up all night.
No, and I think that's a really important thing. And I'll forever be thankful for actually coming out as having Parkinson's, because this was before anyone knew. Because everyone most venues are pretty accommodating. And it's very, in Melbourne, I wouldn't get, are you on drugs? Or apart from once or twice, like when they say, oh, no, you're too pissed to come in, I'll look at you, you're on drugs. And I'll be like, no, I've got Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's, so actually rolling down the hill and seeing bands at the old bar really, really, really made a huge difference to a really terrible time in my life. And and the other thing I find is not being able to stand up, like you said, for long periods. My balance is shot.
Yeah.
So
just the fatigue. It sets in. Your legs just can't.
Do you find fatigue when you're crafting? Like, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Does it get really rigid too?
Does it manifest in different ways? As, like, say if you're going for a walk, it can manifest in your legs or your back. Or you know, but when you're crafting,
really good exercise.
Yeah, but when you're crafting,
the best ones.
Does it like?
But you can't stay seated for too long.
Okay.
You know, I put an alarm on when I'm sewing.
Really? Because you get too into it and forget.
Every 30 minutes, I'll get up and walk around. You know, it's that sort of thing. You can't do it all day. And I have little stashes of creative things all around the house.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Every time I visit your house, it's like a new creative station and so many cushions.
Yeah, so many cushions. But back to question 3 for me, which was?
Look, we've touched on this already, but look, you're an amazing sewer. You're not a dressmaker. You're very adamant that you're not a dressmaker. When did you discover you had this passion, or how did you discover it? Or has it always been... Well, I suppose I'll let you answer that.
Well, I did home ec at school, and we learnt how to make a petticoat, and that would be good if we wore petticoats. But making quilts, that started when I had kids in kindy or preschool, and people would say, oh, you want to go have a coffee? And, yeah, I love coffee, but I like to do something else and drink coffee. I'm a multitasker. So we learnt how to make quilts. We hired a lady from Queensland Quilters. She came and showed us how to do everything. And then we had the knowledge. And so all you really need is knowledge.
So your kids are about 30, late 20s?
Beth's nearly 30.
Is she your eldest?
Yeah, she lives in North Melbourne.
Yeah. Oh, she moved again.
Yeah.
So about 25 years ago, they went to kindy, or Beth went to kindy. You wanted to have a coffee but do something.
Yeah.
So this was well before PD.
This is well before, and thank goodness, because you know, there was a lot of late nights sewing, you know, and that's how you get things done. When you've got kids are asleep, you can sew.
I don't know why people have kids.
But you know, then when we're at the kindy, you know, I organised a quilt raffle.
Ooh!
And
I like raffles.
There's a lot of meaning about quilting squares. So we made a friendship star quilt. and the kindy was 40 years old. So we had 40 different fabrics on a green background.
Oh,
Yeah. And we made, I think, $1,600 out of it.
what, for the PNC?
Yeah, for the kindy.
Yeah, right.
And also what we made, though, was lifelong friendships.
Oh, that's very, very
Yeah.
meaningful and cheesy of you.
And my dad and his tennis friends, they bought lots of tickets, and one of his tennis friends won the quilt.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
See, I will never have children because, but yeah, no. So when you were diagnosed at 46, which kids are teenagers?
Beth was in uni.
Okay, and the other two were teenagers.
Lily and Tara were at school.
So, like, I know when I was diagnosed, I'd known for a long time that I'd had it, but no one would test me or do them properly. And I was really scared about what my life was going to look like. Sorry, I'm staring off in the middle distance because I just don't want to cry.
Yeah.
And I was petrified about the things that I love doing, how they were going to look now.
Yeah.
And when you were diagnosed at 46, was that something that came other than, your family and stuff, was crafting and your ability to craft something that you were really worried about?
It's actually, I was worried about not being how I was. The
normal.
the unknown.
Yeah.
Normal. Yeah, that's right.
Normal.
And also, like, I never dreamt that I would be anything but agile and, able to do stuff. So, yeah, it's different. But when I was diagnosed, I came home and bawled my eyes out all day.
God, I went to the pub.
Oh, well, I would have, but,
Teenagers.
Yeah. And and my second daughter, Lily, said, Mum, what does it make you feel like? And I said, oh, it makes me feel like I want to do stuff that I've never done before. And she said, like what? What haven't you ever done? And I said, I've never had a tequila shot.
Did she get out the tequila and make you have a shot?
We all had a tequila shot.
That's real. That's nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I think that's a really important thing that people tend to forget amongst all the doom and gloom is when you're told you've got something like this, it doesn't stop you. And I really think that it almost makes you live life more than what other people do, because it's not like we have a timeline. Like Parkinson's doesn't technically kill you. It's other things that happen as a result of Parkinson's. But it doesn't – I think it's really important that people I think we give people a lot of hope and we encourage people to do even more than what they do already.
Yeah.
And I love it when people go – when we're in Tokyo, we walk like 36 Ks in a day.
Yeah.
And they telling people this, and they're like, and my mates and my family. And
they
were
were interesting.
Well, no, they were like, oh, wow, I only walk like 5,000 steps. And it's like, well, it's all about you only get one shot.
You've got to do it while you can.
Yeah, and you only get one shot. So you had a tequila shot. What was the next thing you did? Or what else were you scared about?
I wasn't scared. I just hadn't ever done it.
Oh no, not the tequila shot. That's
scared about maybe not being able to dance at my daughter's wedding.
Oh fuck! Oh, I nearly swore then.
Maybe that we, wouldn't be able to travel too much. And so that's not been an issue so far.
You travel?
I do. The last big flight that we had, though, it's tricky. But, as things change, we adapt and we just keep on rolling with the punches.
And I think that's something that, once again, us along with other people have to realise that life isn't a constant continuum and no one has the definite roadmap of what's going to happen. But
that's, it's so true. But you know what? Now, I'll tell you something tricky. Can you get that little thing over there?
What little thing?
That little colourful thing.
Oh, the little purse.
No, the thing that's standing up next to it. Yeah, that. This is a patchwork block. So you can see on one side we have light, and on the other side we have dark.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle we have.
Do you want me to hold it?
Yeah. In the middle we have red, and that is the heart of the log cabin. So that's the fire in the house. That's the heart
Where's
of
the
the home.
log?
That one.
Yes, so
Yeah.
these are all logs around.
They're all logs, all logs. So one side is light logs and one side is dark logs. So it signifies what life is like. It's light and dark,
Looks very
good
linear
and
to me.
bad. Looks very what?
Linear.
Linear, very linear. Yeah, but you know, it's peaks and valleys. You know, so sometimes your Parkinson's symptoms can be just so on your mind.
Do you find like when you go and do your crafting, and I think we touched on this before, but I really want to talk about maybe this a little bit more. Do you get out of your body? Like, are you able to let go and
Like levitate.
well, no, I don't. God, that's very alternative. But like, can you do? Obviously, you find solace in doing the crafty things and the dancing and your gigs and 4ZZZ and all that jazz.
But well, I like doing stuff with other people.
Okay.
And I think the group thing is really important. Yeah, Deb, the boxing coach, she said that group work is proven to be really helpful for people with their mental outlook.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think that
like,
goes for everyone.
Yeah.
That's camaraderie and
Yeah.
solidarity.
Oh, definitely. And why be home when you can be in a group?
And it's like big going to gigs and like having all those people. I remember this 2 shows at the old bar, Future of the North. That was the new band. Anyway, it was heaving. I've been to 2 gigs there where there was no room, and I love being in the mosh pit, and I love the moving with the crowd and going like this won't all in tomorrow, but I know that I'm going to have had a real lot of fun.
Yeah. What about pub fire? Have you tried that?
Nah. Did you pub footy?
Pub footy? What's that? You play footy?
AFL. There was a league started by a few blokes. Nearly 20 years ago now. Longer, actually, if you go delve into the history. And I played for some Velvet Morning Easy Beats, and there's a really strong history with the live music venues and pub footy.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty special thing down in Melbourne. If you ever get a chance and you're in Melbourne, go down to Vic Park, see if it's happening. It happens on a Saturday in winter.
Really?
It's pretty, and then, the pub footy ball is always a wild time. Pig Tempel played the first one I went to. You know Pig Tempel from Melbourne? Oh, okay.
I don't know much about footy.
No, they're a band.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then what happened after I learned how to do patchwork?
Oh,
Then I
yeah.
went back and I got a job. And
In patchwork?
no, I was working at a school. And so that was great. We actually learned how to quilt there too. And so we made quilts for the teachers who were having babies, or just nice things, nice birthday, special things, special quilts with lots of embroidery.
And so making something to give to someone with a group of people, is it that accomplishing of a goal that really, setting that task and going like, that's what I love about my work as well.
Part of my machinations, and machinations in a good way. I make up things that happen.
Yeah, right.
So, Tess from boxing?
Oh, probably.
She had a 60th birthday, so we all got together and we embroidered some Celtic knots. And so it was put together with green and white and orange because she's Irish.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So, you can make really special things. And it's not the quality, it's the love that goes into it. So, and it's the history as well. So if you sewed something and you weren't happy and you unpicked it and you disparaged yourself because you can't sew, well, you're never getting anywhere. It's about history. So you keep on going and you keep on practicing.
And I reckon that, because you ladies, or I don't know if all of you have Parkinson's who participated in that, someone getting something as intricately sewn, no matter how many mistakes are in it, by a group of people who also have the condition, I imagine gives people like a lot of, it just makes you feel like.
It gives us a lot of self-efficacy. Yes.
Yeah.
That's paramount. I think when people say you can't do it, just look out, we can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have done testament to that all the time, really. It's quite that's quite interesting. I wasn't out with my Parkinson's for a long time, and I was working in live music and, managing dressing rooms on some of the biggest Australian music festivals. And, say download or something like that, where I was called in last minute for the first one and I didn't really know a lot about what I needed to do, but I did it anyway. And seeing that end goal and then being able to see some of my favourite bands from my teenage years, i.e. Limp Bizkit and Korn, not the vegetable.
Not the thing on your foot.
No, they were it was such an amazing experience. And to kind of go from this point where I had to leave a career because I had undiagnosed Parkinson's and I couldn't do it anymore. And you can read all about this in my bio. And then to fall literally into live music and then accomplish so much and do these things which I shouldn't be able to do was quite astounding. Like, I think that
that's why we push ourselves.
Well, we've got to. Like, I mean, if you don't push the boundaries of the envelope, then no one's getting challenged. And I think that a lot of people, especially my age, like I'm 35 now, and I've had the deep brain stimulation, but I still find a lot of people my age, the ones who I know are often really disheartened when they're diagnosed and they get a bit flat. And then that can create a rut. And because there's not enough done for advocating for early onset across the board, like worldwide, there's no definite group where you know that you can turn up and talk to someone who's under 40 and go, what's your life flag?
Yeah.
And I think that, oh God, this is another thing that happens with Parkinson's. I lose my tangents.
Oh yeah, exactly. But the support groups are really impactful for people.
Yeah, but if there's people your age, there's no one my age.
Don't worry about it. They're all nice people.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. Because
but what you want to have someone to have a beer with.
No, I want to talk to someone about things that are happening in my age demographic, our position in life.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that I think the arts and I think can do a lot. And we can do a lot through fundraising for the arts.
You know what? I think if you get out there, other people with young onset or early onset Parkinson's.
Oh, I was just about to jump across.
We'll come out and say, hey, I'm there too.
Yeah, look,
let's all have fun together.
I know a few people in Melbourne and we used to see each other. I was still the youngest, but even going to Japan to the Congress and I was the youngest there. That was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And
I had the curliest hair.
Did you really?
No.
Oh, there was an African American there too who had the most amazing hair. I'm so jealous. You always want what you can't have, though. Don't you?
That's right. Now back to the group thing. Okay, so to go to Kyoto, we were right back at the start when it was just a website, the World Parkinson's Congress, when things were all happening in the background. They asked us to make peace cranes. Folded origami peace cranes.
Oh God, that's almost as smart as their bloody food packaging at the conference. Remember the 9x9?
It was pretty crazy.
3x3, sorry. 3x3.
Crazy. Things were pretty tricky for people without much dexterity.
Oh mate, just pick it up with your hands. Anyway, back to the group thing and paper cranes.
Okay, so I thought about this. I thought, I can't make a paper crane, but what can I make? And I woke up one morning and I said, pom-poms. Most people can make a pom-pom.
Yeah, I've actually taught people over the bar, like bar staff, how to make them to fix their beanies. They cut out the thing and it's so easy. Just need that donut and then you just wrap.
Yeah, there's even easier ways now. There's a little tool you can buy for $3 from Spotlight. And you
is it plastic?
Yes, I'm sorry, it's plastic. It doesn't have to be. Maybe we can make them out of bamboo.
Or metal.
Anyway,
we digress.
People got excited and there was 1,000 pom-poms donated. From England, Australia, America, Japan.
Anyone can make a pom-pom.
Nearly everyone can make a pom-pom.
Who can't make a pom-pom?
One lady said, my husband has got Parkinson's well advanced and he can't make a pom-pom.
Suppose if you had no hands, you couldn't really make a pom-pom. You could do it with your feet.
But I said, it would be nice if he could just be there and be involved in the chat. Maybe he could pick a colour.
I don't know. I think that I do understand that there are points, and there are points in my life where I can't do things. But I do think that one of the things that I like about talking so openly now about what I have and what I've done is that showing people you can still do all this stuff, You can
do it to any level. You can do it to your level.
Well, yes,
is the most important. Why push yourself
Well, I really think I think sometimes people need a little push so that they can see that it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. It's not. we move on. So yeah, we took 250 pom-poms to the WPC.
Did you vacuum bag them?
Yeah, I did.
Smart.
Yeah,
Smart.
yeah. And it meant that I couldn't take so many clothes, but that's okay.
Oh, it was for summer. You didn't need
It was
many.
pretty hot there, wasn't it? So I packed them all up so that they wouldn't get tangled. And they were a great display because it was visual, it was 3D. This is one that I made earlier.
Today?
No, a while ago. But see, it's pretty funny, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to hold it up so it's
Yeah.
like. Oh, no, I'm breaking the pom-pom.
Don't show Indy. She will get it and it will be ripped to shreds.
Oh, will she come through that glass?
Yeah, she would get it. But that was good fun, making all those pom-poms. And just people's eyes light up when they see something that's fun and it's a bit of frippery.
No one's going to cry at a pom-pom. Have you ever gotten a pom-pom and had a bad time?
No. And
No.
You know what? When people were walking past my poster display, they didn't look.
I looked.
Yeah. And I think just something just out of the box is really good because, life is different.
And I think that creativity across the board, no matter what you want to be creative in, and I think a lot of the time people limit it to artistic pursuits, but it can be culinary pursuits. It can be so much stuff that you can actually do to express yourself. And sometimes you can't do all of it, but I really think it's important. And if there's one takeaway message, I guess, no, not just one, there'll be lots because we're awesome, but is you've got to you've got to push yourself. You've got to do things you love.
Yeah.
And I think one of the hardest things is sometimes because our voice goes and it's not great is to express yourself and how you're feeling in that moment. Yeah. And I think that learning to express yourself in other ways is really, really good. Like have you found connecting with people over craft handy or?
Definitely. And it gives people permission to ask questions that you wouldn't normally have the time to ask.
It's a conduit.
So, it is. It's a conduit to connection. And that's what we all want. We want connection. We don't want to be lonely.
No one wants to be lonely.
So there's really important connections made when you give it time. So just sitting around, maybe ironing or
you can even be creative with ironing.
You could, exactly. You can walk along the beach and collect all the shells.
Put them in a bowl. Or my dad used to put concrete around jars and stick them to them.
Yeah, cool. Making, flower arranging. There's all sorts of stuff you can do.
Even just this, like, for me, music is such a massive part of my life. Like, it is huge. Even just listening to it. And I remember even now, like, we all have these terrible days.
Yeah.
But it's really, 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 really good to be able to listen to something that's going to ease the pain a little. Like, that's probably a bit bleak, but just make you feel a bit.
I have some
chirpier
harp music that I listen to.
Joanna Newsom, she plays the harp. It's amazing. Wise is her album that I absolutely love. I'll bring them over next time I come.
Great.
Do you have an LP player?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. Great.
Really good one.
Yeah, so do I. I got Mum and her first husband's one, and I've got it reconditioned it. That's amazing.
Oh wow,
it's so good.
Yeah, nice.
I think it's really, really important to have nice things to play it on too.
It is special.
And I think the one thing about vinyl, sorry, I digress, is that vinyl is you're forced to listen to the whole album. Yeah. And especially when you have Parkinson's, because you've only got one shot putting that needle down.
Well, it's got a little lever on it.
Yeah, mine has a lever too, but even just getting the positioning right.
Does yours come back automatically?
Yeah, automatic return.
Mine doesn't. Mine gets to the middle like goes.
Oh, not one of those ones.
Yeah, one of those ones. Why?
I can't answer that question, but I don't understand.
There'll be someone who knows why.
If anyone knows why they invented a record player that doesn't have auto return, can you please comment or ask a question or something like that?
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, do we have any questions?
Hi, that was so fun, you guys. That was great.
Oh God, the waffling was endless.
It was fabulous. Did you do anything with your pom-poms while you were there, Madonna?
A display at the posters.
Wonderful.
Where the abstracts are, all the posters and things like that.
As you walk out of the main hall.
Yeah. So I wrote an abstract about the connections made whilst being creative, saying how important that is. Yeah.
Oh.
And so I hung the pom-poms down over the poster. So, everyone else's posters are just flat. Mine was
Yours
Visual.
are three-dimensional and vibrant. That's fabulous.
pom-poms. I got some here, but you know what happens? If you don't,
They fall apart.
they all get,
Tango.
Oh, look at them. How fantastic, though.
they're fun, aren't they?
They really are so much fun.
Yeah, they really are fun.
You've inspired me to go and make some pom-poms, I think.
Well, you can put they're really versatile. You can just put them on a safety pin and wear them as a brooch.
Put them on a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could wear them as earrings or whatever you like. Dogs like them, cats like them.
I love it.
Yeah.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
We've only got a couple more minutes, but I was just listening. It's fascinating. And you both do the Dance for Parkinson's. Do you any music suggestions? Like, is there any
Young people's music. I get to suggest ones in Melbourne for because we have Rob. What's it, Rob?
Robert's great.
Yeah, Rob on the piano, and House the Rising Sun is really good, but I think that's the
Great.
only one that picked it. He's done Elton John, he's done Billy Joel. I'm going to start taking sheet music.
because we not all of us in our classes are lucky enough to have live music, so we can actually play the real version too. So it's always nice we always take requests in our class. We always ask for music.
Do you have any young people? Who's the youngest person in your class?
That would be she's 55. Yeah, she would be the
20 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
What about the Gypsy Kings? I think.
I love
salsa
them.
and music
They're
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Uplifting and things like that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Romanian
Romanian Gypsy music.
Romanian gypsy music, one of the best acts I've ever seen at WOMAD with my mum and my brother. I cannot for the life of God pronounce the name. I'm sure one of them will get on the chat and go, this is how you pronounce it. Or Cecilia something, but they are phenomenal.
I love the Gypsy music.
So fast.
That is really fast.
So fast, so energetic.
Yeah.
It's fun. It really gets into your heart because there's something goes right deep, doesn't it? I have, by the way, seen that Mongolian punk band on YouTube. I've seen it on YouTube.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
The
throat singing. They do
amazing.
Mongolian throat singing. Like that thing with Tan Dun, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen them in, because I saw them at WOMAD about 5 times over 2 years, because I saw them once and I was like, what is this? And went back. And then, to see them with Tan Dun and the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra was just incredible.
Wow, that would have been absolutely amazing, because it's quite, the sound is like nothing
you've ever heard, because they play
here in a Western world. Like it's really quite a different, like sonically, it's so different, isn't it? It's like
It's a traditional instrument, and the different vibrational tones they give off. So I'm getting really comfy leaning against your blinds.
So that's good. So some Gypsy Kings, some things, some young people. All right, well, I'll take that on board. We're just about to start back for in-person classes back down in Sydney very cautiously.
Where in Sydney do you do them?
We actually have a lot of places in Sydney. We've got Rozelle, Pennant Hills, Mossman.
If you ever wanted someone like a band to play at any of the inner city ones, I could probably organise that for you.
Oh, absolutely. We will stay in touch. We're always looking for some live music. So absolutely. We've got Erskineville and Rozelle. So
I could easily do Erskineville and Rozelle. Easily.
Yeah, that would be really fantastic. So just maybe a quick one. Maybe it's a bit with that lovely. I loved your beautiful patchwork as well, Madonna. Gosh, you're so crafty. It's beautiful. Yeah. With that lovely light and dark analogy, I was just wondering, is there anything that you find joy and happiness in now, you both, that perhaps you might not have found had you not had Parkinson's? Like maybe, life takes us on these skewed journeys, and maybe there's something that you've arrived at,
I think that in hindsight, everyone should just appreciate every day.
Yeah.
That you can wake up easily, jump out of bed, jump out, and walk freely.
Of course.
Put your shoes and socks on yourself.
Pour your hot cuppa in the morning.
For me, now I think I'm happy that I can do anything.
Yeah.
I know one day I won't be able to do a lot of stuff, but
That's one of the scariest thoughts.
Yeah, it is.
But I really hate that. I hate that when some things are hard and you're like, shit, this is not going to get easier.
No.
And that's a really, at 35, that's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I'm happy about. I really appreciate things. I appreciate the beauty of our country,
Yeah.
and especially being in lockdown and not being able to travel. Yeah, I appreciate my daughters more, my husband.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Those lovely little small things in life. Well, it doesn't sound like you two are slowing down anytime soon, I've got to say.
No.
You're powering ahead. So we are at time. I think Erica Rose would like to jump on. That was so much fun and so great, you guys. Thank you so much
Anytime.
for sharing your stories with us. I'm just going to hand over to Erica Rose at this moment in time. So thank you so much, Salty and Madonna. That's been great.
Hooroo!
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Madonna and Salty. Really wonderful to hear a little bit more about your journeys, and I learned some new things as well. So a big thank you to you. And I just want to let everybody know that we will be continuing on in the live stream. We're going to take just a 10-minute break, and then our next session will start at 2:10 Queensland time with Singing for Wellbeing with Dr. Melissa Forbes. So we'll look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thanks, Erica Rose.
Hooroo! Thanks for having me. Us.